Hi everyone, Judy Wood. Let's have a look at creating a gatefold. This particular fold, in this case, is a vertical. It's got two outer narrow panels with one larger panel in the center. Again, if you just look at it from an illustration standpoint. So what I want to consider here is what is the overall size of that back panel. And then I'm going to divide that back panel size in two, which will give me two of my gate doors, if you will. This particular fold, they meet in the center, so you do not have an overlap. However, with that said, interesting gates can have different die cuts that can overlap slightly and perhaps even create a slit on this side to produce a lock for the gate. So a gate is a very versatile, it's a very attractive fold. This particular one is a vertical, so let's go ahead and show you how this is set up. I'm going to go into InDesign, Command N, File, New, and I'm going to make sure, and I'm just going to call this a gate template. And I'm going to change my size to, so my width, the back panel is going to be 6 wide, and the height is going to be 9. I'm going to turn off facing pages. I'm just creating right now that back panel, and I'm looking at my margins. I'm going to make it pretty small because this has got a pretty small footprint, so I just want to have a small margin, and I make sure I have my bleed, my 0.125, and I'll go ahead and create that. This gives me a parent. If I click on my parent and change my options, and if I just say this is my back panel, it helps me to understand what the master page is doing. I'm going to go ahead and create a second master page. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. You do need to create a master page for this? No. But as a template item, this is a really great practice. So these panels, which are now going to be the flaps that are going to close off my gate, they're going to be half of my back. So it's going to be 3 inches. And I'm going to give that name of flap. And I'll say OK. And you can see up here in my master page area, let's go ahead and increase the size of these panels so you can see them much better. There we go. So you can see the size is half the size. Now what I want you to do is go into the flyout menu of pages and do not allow document pages to shuffle. That check mark right there. Let's make sure that you have no check mark beside allow document pages to shuffle. This will now allow you to drag your document down. So if I just take this flap right, and if I bring it down, normally it would automatically drop it below. But because I've now shuffled my pages, I can bring this down and hug it in. Notice this little bracket that shows up, and I can drop that on either side to get my gatefold. So let me zoom out and bring that up so you can now see there's my gatefold. Again, if I want to do that, I can let's start with a B, go with an A. I got that error because I actually put it over top as opposed to the bracket. So I'll get the error if I go here because it says you want to replace the size or just bracket and put it down. So now I have a back and a front, and I can go ahead and design that. One thing to be cautious and concerned about when you are printing this. So let's go ahead and create a PDF for this now. I'm going to go in and create my PDF X4 2008, and I'm just going to stick this on my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead, instead of exporting as pages, because I'll just get all these separate pages, I'm going to make sure it's set up as a spread. This is really important for you, and then I will go ahead and make sure that everything else is good, and I'm going to include my printer marks. I'll take off my bleed marks, and I will use my document bleed settings, and I'll export that. And now when I have a look, we'll see that there is the crop marks and the fold marks that appear for it. So this really helps the printer understand what your intent is, and both of my pages are the same. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you need anything further.